So basically, you see a very familiar picture, which is always on the TV, Mr. Love Agrawal. And every time he makes a presentation, there's a lot of things going on behind the back. So India's response to COVID-19 management. There is a swift and full scalable interministerial coordination. This was well established under the oversight of the Prime Minister's office. So what they tried to do is real-time data which is actually disaggregated data by age, sex, location, hospital readiness, medical supplies. So there is a lot of management not only for the case but also for health systems management in terms of logistics supplies. They needed to be collected, analyzed to inform decision makers and the general public how to go ahead to tackle this present crisis. If you see from the beginning, we have more than about 1 million travelers who were screened across all airports of India. And there is a big database of these travelers. There is community surveillance, which was activated, and monitoring of cases, which was imposed. And all contacts were actually traced and monitored, and all cases were given full treatment. So this entire database is a huge database, and that's the data science that we are talking about. And what else is happening here? If you see the screen, I will put my mouse, if you can see my mouse. On the right side is actually the COVID-19 portal. This is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare data portal. And this is a data exchange. It's also called the S3, which is the special surveillance system. And it is actually, it can expand at the national and state. It can also help in the detection of the COVID-19, the influenza-like illness, the SARI cases, and there is an enhanced S3, which actually integrates back to three systems also, which are here. And one of the systems on the left side, we call it the Integrated Disease Surveillance Program, which has 33 plus disease conditions. These are all disaggregated data by line list with 33 conditions. COVID-19, SARI, that is a severe acute respiratory infection, and the influenza like are all part of the integrated disease surveillance program. Now, the database of IDSP, which is the Integrated Disease Surveillance Program, is the community surveillance. So wherever the contact tracing, tracking, case management, etc., everything goes back to IDSP. And therefore, from IDSP, the data actually also comes back to the COVID-19 portal where the states are also putting the data back. There is also another platform, which is a new platform, the Health Management Information System, which collects aggregate data. And now for severe acute respiratory infection, influenza-like illness from OPD and IPD cases. And basically, this is a facility infrastructure and human resource data which gets collected. This is also sort of getting integrated to also the COVID portal. The third one is the integrated health information platform, which is actually the platform which integrates the data bundles, which we call, and it has a lot of registries. And one of the things that health secretary and government wanted, they wanted a single operating platform for health data and information. So this integrated health information platform is actually a platform where it can integrate health data and information, especially from the public and private facilities. It can also integrate various pieces of data, including environment data, animal data, routine public surveillance data, public health threats, disasters and mass events, like your Kumbh Mela, for instance. We use the integrated health information platform. It can connect various hospitals, laboratories, and other things. And it has all the e-governance data and information standards, like the ICD, NIN, ICD coding, and it has the ability to connect with some of the electronic hospital systems. So this is actually the platform that can also integrate the various applications that are actually coming in. Now, The integrated health information platform is documenting disaggregated data. And you can see that most of the patient data that you have, like you have the patient information, you have socio-demographic data, clinical information, exposure history, travel history, uh, laboratory information, clinical course, and public health response. And therefore, it collects a lot of information on various aspects, and the facility, and these are also being verified by the state and the district level officials. So this is the kind of details of documenting the disaggregated data, and this I'm talking for COVID-19. So when it happened, there is a patient ID given by ICMR. Then there's a patient ID given by the NCDC staff, and so there is a lot of IDs generated. And to weed out all duplicates, these IDs are used to weed out many of the duplicates records that are there. So cleaning is also happening at this point of time. Now, the other thing that this platform does is also to manage line list of cases and contacts. And you can see contact tracing line list, and nearly about 1 million contact were actually traced. And we have details of their serial number, case, patient ID, their name, first name, middle name, last name, age, when they were tracked, mobile number. So this is blank to keep it out, because and they are actually by name, and details are there which country they came in, last exposure. So all these records are getting tagged, and this is a huge database where we are using this information to track the patients, and also using various applications like the Arogya Setu, which is also connecting the data to help in the contact tracing. Then there is the laboratory data, and the platform actually allows to monitor the laboratory results. And you can see the person's name, which is actually masked, the RT-PCR done, what type of sample that was taken, specimen ID, and the results. So all this complete database is actually managed. And there are two big bodies here. One is the National Center for Disease Control, which is the EPI, that is epidemiological information. And then we have the ICMR also providing the laboratory information. And therefore, there is a platform which actually has to have, and the S3 portal and the National Center for Disease IDSP portal sort of integrates all this information to come to one single platform. And therefore, one of the things that this can do is produce real-time data analytics for decision making. And therefore, you can get age analysis, you can get death analysis, you can get actually the epi curves for the various conditions, you can get the comorbid data analysis of the patients, and therefore you can also see which are the active cases, which are actually the cured cases, death cases, and migrated. So these are all on a real-time basis, and once the states update the data, it will automatically be seen in the portal to make decisions. Then the other piece of data is the health management information systems. And the training has been fully completed in India. And presently, they are actually watching the SARI cases, the severe acute respiratory infection, the influenza-like illness, and also the uh, fever less than 7 days, which they are monitoring. And in 1 month, they have collected a lot of records. This is a health facility based reporting, and it has a lot of details. You can actually select from date to date. It has state, district, facility wise information, state, and you can actually go down to ward and village level for all these cases. So here you can see that the total number of patients for SARI, influenza-like illness, and fever, you can actually select them by state, you can select them by district, you can also select them by district, sub-district, to view information of SARI cases. So this is another platform which actually integrates data, and so there are different sources of data which we are all looking at to gather more information. And then the integrated health information platform has a geospatial visualization of data for action. So it can actually display SARI cases, it can display COVID cases, it can display ILI cases by pins, and it can actually tell you who this person is if necessary. Therefore, here it is masked. But if a particular decision maker wants to see, there could be actually who this. So for outbreak management, for containment, and to ensure that the cases decrease over a period of time, place, and person, this geospatial visualization of data for action is very important. On the right side, you will also see various layers. It has train layers, airport layers, roads, networks, also other layers which can be added, including climate, humidity, rainfall, just to visualize the outbreak in the various conditions. You can also drill down the disease by state, district, sub-district, from date to date. You can see a heat map, or you can actually see the markers which are there. For the COVID-19 dashboard, we also saw visualization in which it's a real-time data that is coming in, and you can see state data, and these are all hyperlinked. So state data to uh, uh, district data, district data to sub-district data. So actually the drill down can be made from here. You can also see a comprehensive national view of active cases, cured, and death. You can also see a lot of charts which are there for cases by state and by district. So you can actually drill down here. So data is very comprehensive, and how this data is managed in the platform is actually data science. So what did we learn? So for this, at the time of crisis, definitely, I think there was a lot of intersectoral coordination, which was very essential for managing large-scale outbreaks. We had to bring various platforms together, various data informations together to actually make this whole thing work. We also had to get not aggregated data, but we had to get disaggregated patient data. We needed clinical data, laboratory data, drugs data, logistics data. We also need population data, because right now the indicators are on population. How many tests were conducted? How many cases per population? This is very essential for emergency response. And therefore, I think this is something that the data from the platform can give us. We need person-centric integrated information systems with near real-time geospatial data analytic capabilities. These are very essential and should be made available to all persons, to all levels of emergency response chains for timely decision making. So the health system's preparedness is key. I think when Prime Minister ordered the lockdown, I think it delayed the response, and that gave the health systems a chance to develop their systems. Otherwise, the hospitals would have been flooded, and it also helped in better data management, data science, and now we are actually geared up to track these cases, to track the logistics, to track many of the supplies, etc., and to replenish them, and better coordination with the state and with the districts. So this is about the COVID-19. And therefore, in summary, there are various categories of data. So if you are talking of data now in a big data analytics for say earthquakes, or if you see cyclones which are happening, the floods which are happening, I think what we understand is we need timely processing of data and communication of information. This is central to emergency preparedness and response. So for NIDM, I think we need to know event-specific data, and that the platform can actually provide. What is it? How many people? Where is it happening? Who? How quickly? And what is the current status? So if we can get all this data on a real-time information, it is very useful. How do you manage? You need to manage human resources. You need to manage various interventions, you need to manage resources, you need to manage expenditures and progress. So all this is again information which is actually related to emergency response. They all should be there in a single platform, and they all should be able to see it to manage the emergency. Then we have context data. How do you map this? What is the population distribution? Where are the transportation links? Suppose is the links destroyed? How many new shelters have been made? Are they open? Are they closed? Temporary facilities, availability of clean water, climate and weather, and others. So there's a lot of data which is actually there. And for emergency preparedness and response, we need to put all this in one umbrella and look at this data. Now, there are various challenges of data and information management during a full-scale emergency. I'm just going to give you an example of an Ebola outbreak which happened in Africa, and therefore, what they found is the presence of really high volumes of electronic files during an emergency response, and that's what happens. And if the platform is not able to digest the electronic files and sort them out, then we're going to have chaos in data science. Then information management, we need to look at management and production and distribution a large number of timely information products. I'm sure the press, media, many people are asking information. And if you don't have real-time information, if you don't have this on your fingertips, then you'll not be able to manage, you'll not be able to produce timely information products. And therefore, data science is really crucial for us to inform social media, the public, to policymakers, to the states, to district planners. So everybody needs timely information products. Then we also need information management of contacts, and therefore in any emergencies, whether it's COVID or whether it is a cyclone or whether in an earthquake, rapid response teams, how do you actually coordinate the rapid response teams? How do you coordinate the frontline responders? So the information management of bringing all these human resource people to do that work that they are doing, and also to document the work that they're doing, to come into a single platform, is actually data science by itself. So we need integration. We need the platform to record all this data. And therefore, I'm coming back that we need near real-time information system, and we need disaggregate data. And therefore, whatever the data is, whether it is cases or whether it is for earthquake, whether it is supplies, whether it's tents, or whether it is any other medicines, etc., we need a line list of all these data items, is what we're calling, for whatever reason that is. So we'll get a lot of data, and we need to put the data together back into the system. Then we also need a good dashboard. So wherever the data is coming in, it has to be simplified into simple situation reports. And I'm sure that people have difficulty in making reports. So the information systems and data science should pick key elements and should produce a situation report on demand. And therefore, it is just the press of a button that you will actually get a situation report. That is very useful in an emergency setting. And we should have dashboards which can display various aspects, whether it's logistics, whether it's line listing, or actions being taken on the field. You should be able to see dashboards of different states, different districts, and the information system should be able to give you this on a real-time basis. So therefore, this is my last slide, that information management is a complex, and therefore the platform has to actually accommodate. We were actually only talking a little bit about the COVID-19 case management, or the case line listing, contact line listing. And therefore, there is a lot of other things that I'm sure in COVID-19, we have psychosocial support. So who is giving the support? How many people were actually affected? who's treating them? Are they feeling better? So these are all information we need to actually collect. Logistics, epidemiological investigation. So these are the four bundles that you see here: behavioral and social interventions, clinical managements, epidemiological investigations, and logistics. So these are very important. And then there are small items which are looming in for information. If there is a death, there's a funeral, and then are we documenting the dead, etc. There are clinical trials going on, whether it's ICMR research, etc. Then there's a follow-up of contacts, then vectors if they are involved, transport, vehicles, ambulances, lodging, food, security, you know. So it's so much of information maze is there, which has to come to a common platform, and use the platform where all these pieces of information are put into registries, and they can be used later for another disaster with the information that we have. So common platform is always a single operating platform is very useful if we can bring all the health data and information together. And this is something that the integrated health information was planning to do. It was inaugurated in November 26th, 2018, and we implemented it in nearly about half of the states in India, and another half of the states will be completed. HMIS is also in all the states of India being completed. COVID-19 management is done throughout India, also in the present platform. So with this, I will stop here,